Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing European Outlook for today's second video. So as was on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather for next week to 10 days in detail for Europe. And I shall get on with that for you in a second. Extreme, dangerous, and now record-breaking heat continues across many southern parts of Europe. So more about that in a second, and we'll see whether this heat wave is going to start to relent or whether it's going to get even worse. We'll have a look at the charts in a second. Before I get on with that, just to say that the first video release was our 7 AM forecast. I've got a 10 to 14 day with all our break features coming up later on this afternoon. So check out all the videos, please. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, okay, I'm going to turn off webcam. Unusually for the European Outlook, we're actually going to start off on Twitter. Don't normally include anything else other than charts. However, this was a tweet that the Met Office put out yesterday. So they said that today has provisionally seen the highest temperature ever recorded in #Italy. SIAS have confirmed that Siracusa in Sicily reached 48.8 Celsius earlier this afternoon. This was yesterday, of course. And if verified by @WMO, World Meteorological Organization, it will become a new European temperature record. And there it is, flashing away, 48.8 degrees, which is getting on for around 120 Fahrenheit. I think extraordinarily and extremely hot down there across southern parts of Europe, and of course very, very, very dangerous heat indeed. So anybody watching from that part of Europe, please, take care because the heat wave continues. Let's have a look then at the situation today. So again, it remains the fact that across northern and western Europe it's relatively cool. We've got low pressure dominating to the north and west of Scotland, and so for northwestern Europe, the winds coming off the Atlantic, it's relatively cool and pleasant. Down into southern Europe, generally south of the Alps, from Spain all the way over to the Adriatic and the Balkans, and down southeast Europe, that is where the heat is bottled up. We see it better with the upper air temperatures. There they are. We've had extreme heat with these deep pink and purple colours pushing out of North Africa into the Med, and that heat is actually pulling back a little bit further westwards into the western part of Med, so particularly affecting Spain today. But it's generally an extremely hot scene across all parts of the Med, south of the Alps. Those temperatures are well into the upper 30s or the 40s Celsius, well into the 100s Fahrenheit. Notice how much cooler, fresher it is out to the northwest. I mean, it's still pretty warm across Germany, don't get me wrong, and even going northwards in towards Norway and Sweden. The upper air temperatures are quite warm there, probably a bit above average, but nowhere near the extreme levels of heat that we have with this dangerous heat wave across southern parts of Europe. Southern France has turned pretty hot as well just recently. Now, there's a lot of dry weather with this hot air, of course. It's very hot, dry air, but we have so virtual parts of southern Europe are dry. Just 1 or 2 row thunderstorms here and there. We have got some storms as we go further into northeastern parts of Europe, so to the east of the Baltic Sea, heading into west of Russia. Some showers and storms there. A few showers across parts of Scandinavia, and some showy rain with strong winds as well, coming into western Scotland and parts of Ireland. But these are the exceptions to the rule. Most places are dry, hot and sunny, especially so across southern Europe. And look how hot it is in the south of Europe again. These are the service temperatures telling us that the temperature is well into the upper 30s, if not the 40s Celsius, from Spain and Portugal in the west, all the way over to Greece in the east. Notice it looks much cooler and much fresher and much more comfortable, really, across northern and western Europe. Southern France is pretty hot, into the mid to upper 30 Celsius there. That heat is struggling to get much further north. Right on into tomorrow, Friday, so low pressure will deepen to the north of Scotland. That will bring strong winds and some rain into Scotland and Northern Ireland, possibly affecting other parts of Ireland as well. We might get some showery bursts beginning to move over towards Scandinavia too. Go further southwards, we've got this ridge of high pressure, and again, extreme heat being bottled up down there in the Mediterranean. That's how the upper air temperatures look. So again, it's a very, very hot scene, particularly like through the central and western bowl of the Med tomorrow. The heat not quite as extreme perhaps through parts of Italy and down towards Greece and Turkey and around the Adriatic. But still very hot, still probably into the upper 30s Celsius. But like the 40 Celsius plus heat is probably going to be through the central bowl of the Med and into parts of Spain once more. But again, further northwards, it's a lot cooler for the UK, for Ireland. Warm, but not excessively so for Scandinavia. And pretty warm air beginning to push northwards, or trying to push northwards from this heat wave into towards southern parts of Germany, for example, and southern parts of Poland too. Again, a lot of dry weather through most parts of Med. Dry, hot and sunny. Just one or two rogue thunderstorms around mountainous areas of Italy, for example. But much of the Med and much of Eastern Europe, actually, looking mostly dry, sunny and hot. It's in the far north and northwest. It is more unsettled with some showers and some long spells of rain. And again, we see extreme heat through most parts of the Med, especially in mid-central and western bowl of the Mediterranean, always looking rather more comfortable, but still reasonably warm. You know, it is mid-August after all, still reasonably warm, but much more comfortable across the northern and western parts of Europe. Saturday, low pressure is transferring into Scandinavia, taking cooler and more unsettled conditions through there. Perhaps trying to get a little bit warmer through parts of southern England and Ireland. France looking pretty hot, but again, it will be down through southern parts of Europe that the extreme heat will go on. And actually, it looks like it's beginning to get even hotter again through Italy and over the Adriatic in towards the Balkans, down into southeast corner, and very extreme heat through most parts of Spain and into central part of there, and beginning to push into southern parts of France, the south of France, you know, around the Côte d'Azur. We could see the temperature lifting up there into the upper 30s Celsius, so quite extreme heat through there. Again, it's a very different scene further northwards with these areas of low pressure across the northwest of Europe. Much cooler and much fresher air off the Atlantic Ocean. So showers and longer spells of rain transferring from the Atlantic and Norwegian Sea into Scandinavia on Saturday. Some showy rain affecting Ireland too. A few thunderstorms beginning to start kicking off perhaps over the Alps, and some showery bursts across the far east and northeast of Europe. Many other areas, though, you'll notice are looking dry, hot and sunny. Those temperatures look extreme on Saturday, again widely at or above 40 degrees for most parts of Spain. Heading into the 40-degree mark, I think, for southern parts of France. Probably getting back into the 40s Celsius again into parts of Italy, and maybe going over the Adriatic into the Balkans as well. Temperatures there could be at least into the upper 30s, if not hovering around the 40-degree mark. Once more, it's so much cooler, so much more comfortable to the north and west. If you don't like heat across southern Europe, get yourself, if you can, to Scandinavia or Scotland or Ireland. Temperatures there are so much more comfortable at like upper teens to low 20s Celsius levels. That's Sunday, and again, it's looking very unsettled across northern parts of Europe. Trough low pressure digging in to the UK and Ireland, possibly affecting northern parts of France later on. Again, though, we have this extreme heat continuing across southern parts of Europe. There's the upper air temperatures, again, looking at very, very hot, very extreme across most parts of Spain and into the Mediterranean as well, just into south of France. And again, perhaps getting hotter, if anything, through the Balkans and heading down towards Greece. The upper air temperatures there are looking dangerously hot once more. Going further northwards, it's a lot cooler through Scandinavia, just into northern parts of Germany, parts of the Low Countries as well, and northern Poland. It's a little bit warm for southern England, but only temporarily, as low pressure is digging in from the north. That's how precipitation looks for Sunday. So showery across Scandinavia and showery rain spreading southwards to the UK and Ireland as well. One or two rogue thunderstorms over the Alps, but most other parts of Europe looking dry, sunny, and very hot across southern, southeastern parts of Europe. So again, the extreme and dangerous heat wave continues across the southern southeastern areas from Spain over to the Balkans. We're going to see temperatures widening into the upper 20s, if not below upper 30s, I should say, if not low 40s Celsius. Much cooler again across northern and western Europe, with temperatures mid to upper teens to low 20s. Although southern parts of England might warm up actually on Sunday, might pop up to like mid 20s Celsius before those showery outbreaks of rain arrive. I'm heading to Monday. We've got this area of low pressure developing across northern Europe. So this low is like sitting around Denmark and northern parts of Germany, pulling in cool air across northern and western parts of Europe. The high pressure beginning to pull out into the middle of the Atlantic as well, just maybe suggesting that we might start to see the heat wave beginning to ease across southern Europe. It is still very hot, though, on Monday across most parts of the Mediterranean. Just the far north of Spain, south of France beginning to cool down a little bit. Go further south into southern and eastern parts of Spain, very hot there. Most of the Med, very hot. Italy, very hot. And again, particularly focusing around the Balkans and down in towards Greece. Extreme heat, again, through there. But look how much cooler it is for the UK and Ireland. Those cooler northerly winds are beginning to dig in through France. Also, we've got Scandinavia, northeastern Europe looking relatively cool there on Monday. Heavy showers and thunderstorms kicking off with that area of low pressure, particularly through Germany and heading northwards into Denmark. So just generally quite unsettled across these northwest parts of Europe, and maybe some thunderstorms beginning to break out around the Alps and going in towards southern parts of Poland, Austria, for example, might start to see a few thunderstorms beginning to break. Most eastern parts of Europe looking dry, hot and sunny, and again, the whole of the Med looks dry, hot and sunny on Monday. Extreme heat again through some parts of Spain, Italy, central part of the Med, and again, particularly in this southeastern corner, the Balkans going down towards Romania, for example, could have extreme heat through the early part of next week. Northwards and westwards, that's where it's much cooler. Most cooler northern winds are beginning to dig in across France as well. So notice the heat just beginning to ease a little bit across the south of France and into the northern part of Spain. And then we go through into Tuesday. We've got that deep area of low pressure sitting over Denmark. That will be bringing showers and longer spells of rain to many northern and western parts of Europe with cooler air in from the north as well. And just suggesting that we're beginning to wobble and get a little bit of instability perhaps through those southern parts of Europe. So the heat wave just beginning to ease, I think, across the central and western bowl of Med. It is still hot, but maybe temperatures begin to ease back a little bit there. It's southern Italy again, and like Sicily perhaps, and into this southeastern corner that we might be experiencing extreme levels of heat on Tuesday. Northwards and westwards are much cooler with this area of low pressure, of course, and spiraling around that will be showers and longer spells of rain through southern parts of Norway, Sweden, around the Baltic Sea, going down into Denmark and Germany. Could turn very wet through those areas. Showery through Ireland and the UK to northern parts of France, some showers through central northern parts of Italy, and some thunderstorms beginning to break out in this more eastern part of Europe. However, most of eastern and southern Europe still remains dry. The extremity of the heat is just beginning to ease a little bit from the central and western part of the Med. Still extreme heat, though, around the Adriatic into southern parts of Italy, and then down in towards Greece and Turkey. Still temperatures there into the upper 30s, if not below 40 Celsius. Again, it just remains so much cooler and more comfortable in the north and west, but it will be wet, of course. That's Wednesday. Again, deep low pressure across these northern parts of Europe. Things just beginning to ease slightly with the heat, I think, across southern parts of Europe. That's how the upper air temperatures look. They are still very hot in the southeastern corner. Central part of Med, not as hot. Spain, not as hot. And notice about plus 30 Celsius. Isothermy just beginning to ease back in towards northern parts of Africa. The really much cooler upper air temperatures, though, are across central, northern, and western parts of Europe with those northerly winds and that area of low pressure. Very unsettled across much of northern Europe by middle of next week with showers and longer spells of rain. They're transferring further eastwards as well. Notice again, though, most parts of the Med and southeastern Europe remain dry. And the hottest temperatures now are around the Black Sea and going down in towards Greece and Turkey. So gradually through next week, that extreme heat is beginning to recede into the eastern corner of the Med. Things beginning to get a little bit less hot through Italy and through the Balkans in particular. Northwards, though, it is much cooler seeing there across many central, northern and western parts of Europe. Vastly more comfortable. That's Thursday. This time next week looks unsettled in the north of Europe, and gradually we are beginning to ease those cooler temperatures further southwards and eastwards. Upper air temperatures show that the heat is easing, so next week does see an easing of the heat wave through the Mediterranean, although it will still be hot because it is August. in the Med, with the extreme heat by now beginning to drain away in towards the Middle East, seemingly, and back into northern parts of Africa. Northern Western Europe again looking a lot cooler and more comfortable. It's a case of showers or longer spells of rain. Notice by this point we are beginning to break out some thunderstorms in this southeastern corner. So around the Balkans and between Balkans and Black Sea, we're just beginning to start getting some instability with thunderstorms beginning to break out. That will come as a welcome relief, I think, if those storms do start to break out in that eastern and southeastern part of Europe. Most parts of the Med, though, are still looking hot, and the unsettled weather is particularly through these northern parts of Europe next Thursday. Temperature-wise, extremely hot still in the extreme east of Europe, and going into the southwest of Russia now, and back in towards the Middle East. Beginning to warm up a little bit across western parts of Europe, actually. France, like the UK, beginning to warm up slightly, although nowhere near to the extreme levels of heat, but currently across southern parts of Europe. And I'll just run you on main 2 day temp. So that's Friday next week. Generally looking a lot cooler and showery across northern parts of Europe, and the heat wave probably easing a little bit across southern Europe. That's Saturday through to Sunday, where it remains, Sunday 22nd of August, where it remains unsettled and relatively cool in the north and west of Europe. We might, though, by this point, be starting to see signs of a heat building again across southern parts of Europe. There's the upper air temperatures, notice, but we're beginning to get another push of extreme heat out of Africa into particularly this eastern and southeastern part of Europe again. Now, this is 10 days away, so it's a very long way out. I wouldn't be all that concerned at this stage, but, you know, it's what we've had through this summer, so we might start to see yet another surge of heat coming out of Africa into eastern and southeastern part of Europe by day 10. Okay, it's been a very extended European outlook this week, but I think it's justified, with the scenario that's going on with this extreme heat, dangerous heat, record-breaking heat across southern Europe. If you found this European outlook interesting, informative, and useful, then please can you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And those of you in southern Europe, you just got to keep yourself cool, keep hydrated, stay safe with this extreme heat, and hopefully next week it will ease for a while anyway. But yeah, it's really nasty now with this very, very extreme heat wave that is going on. So look after yourself. Those of us in Northern Europe and Northern and Western Europe, it again reminds us how lucky we are, to be placed in this part of the world and have the Atlantic and much cooler and fresher conditions generally on offer. Right, okay, that's European Outlook this week. We're back later on with 10 to 14 there, but we'll include all our break features. Come back for that then for the European Outlook this week. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.